I'll say only a few words in the hopes that you'll comprehend. Mortality, purgatory, survival. Beginning to catch my drift?
Hello everyone, this is Gruesome Herzog. My very special guest this evening is director Vince D'Amato. How you doing, Vince?
I'm doing great, Gruesome. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I've been hearing a lot about the movies that you guys done from Rob Carpenter and Dan Ellis, and you got some interesting stuff, I must say.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people after this interview should understand that you can't take everything serious at what you watch, and hopefully they get some good information from Mr. Vince himself.
Thank you.
Here we go. The first movie that I talked to Dan, I'm trying to think, was it Rob or was it Dan? Rob. Corpse-O-Rama in 2001.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you want, you can go ahead and tell the listeners a little bit about it out of your own words, if you don't mind.
No, for sure. That one's not really available. It was available locally. That we put it out ourselves. And it was it was the first thing we ever did. We really had no idea what we were doing. It was back in the 90s, and I'd just read Robert Rodriguez's book, Rebel Without a Crew, and of course, that's the book that inspired half of the people like us to do what we're doing now.
Right.
And I thought, I really wanted to. I had no formal training for film in school, so I really wanted to. I was using that book as the template for what I was doing, so far as even shooting on 16. So I thought, okay, that's kind of a good way to go. So we went, we bought a bunch of 16 millimeter film, borrowed a camera. I got this guy who was a professional camera operator on a series that we're shooting in Vancouver, and he basically showed me how to use the camera, and he came on, he was doing some shooting for us. And, we get through a few rolls of film, and I don't even know what to do with it. I called one of my friends, and he was a professional photographer at the time, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, why don't you call Fujifilm? So I call Fujifilm up. I say, yeah, I've got this film. We shot 16 mil. I tell him what it was. And I said, so what do I do? Do I just open up the mag in like a room with some red light? And the guy freaked. He was like, no, you didn't do that, did you? It's got to be pitch black. And I was like, no, I didn't do anything yet. But that's how little we knew.
Right.
Going into it. But once we finished Corpse, it was funny because we had some interest from some independent Vancouver shops.
Right.
At the time, one was called Real Horror. And so they carried our film for a while, and they rented it and sold it, and we probably made about $50 from that movie.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Then how'd you pay Rob, or did you pay Rob with sodas and beer and food, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It really was. I think Rob had a good time. He ended up coming on and playing a few roles, but of course, we're really it was really no budget. We're shooting on film, so we're trying to be as conservative as possible as to not let the expense get out of hand. And so there weren't really that many shooting days.
Right.
Even though Rob played like 3 or 4 different characters in the movie itself is only about, maybe an hour long.
Okay.
And, we only shot for, I think maybe it was, I can't really remember now. It was around 9 days, 10 days or something like that.
Wow. Well, the next one has like 2 names. I guess it was originally called Vampires versus Zombies, and then for some reason it was changed to Carmilla, the lesbian vampire, in 2004.
Actually, that is really interesting, that one. That one was originally called Carmilla. It really was.
Okay.
And the distribution company, which was the Asylum at the time, They were the first ones to pick it up, and they had it for 3 years. And they had sent us an email, and they said, "Well, what do you like better?" And they gave us this list of things like. Actually, the funny thing was one of their tags was the lesbian vampire as well. Anyway, they said the lesbian vampire, something else, and vampires versus zombies. And I swear to this day, we actually thought that they were asking us to pick a tagline for the movie. So we thought, okay, well, yeah, vampires versus zombies, that's a cool little tagline. And then about 2 months later, when it's time for us to deliver the masters, they said, oh, yeah, and don't forget when you do the master for the trailer, it's not Carmilla anymore, it's vampires versus zombies. And that was the first side really was like, whoa, really? You meant you wanted to change the name? Uh-huh. And the first thing we all said, because we made the movie and we knew, what vampires versus zombies? There is no vampires versus zombies in this thing. There's a few zombies around at the end.
Right.
But yeah, so that was how that got marketed. And it was, it's funny. It was a totally double-edged sword because if they hadn't done that, it wouldn't have reached such a huge audience. Like every Blockbuster in North America carried like 3 copies of this thing.
Wow.
But because they mismarketed it, everybody hated it. Everybody I keep thinking of this quote from this late comic, Mitch Hedberg, and he said, you can't please all the people all the time. And last night, every one of those people was at my show, and that's kind of like how I felt with that.
Right.
But
that's amazing.
That's what happens. It's like so we sacrificed people actually maybe liking the film if they hadn't been bamboozled by it for actually reaching such a wide audience. It was it was a crazy time, that's for sure.
Excuse me. Well, the next one is a short film that I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to find this baby. It seems interesting. Heads Are Gonna Roll in 2004.
Oh, yeah, you should. Actually, that got re-released as a special feature on the Carmilla DVD re-release that Unearthed Films put out for us.
Okay.
So you can get that short film on there. That more people like that film, that's for sure. That wasn't. It's a quick little 20-minute thing, and it gets a far better response than the big feature film that we spent tons of money on. So
that's something. Yeah,
that's how it goes sometimes,
Yeah, and Rob Carpenter played a character, Louis the Customer.
Yeah, that's right. He was basically the lead character. He had a lot of dialogue with Brink Stevens, who you probably know. Mm-hmm. She's quite a famous cult actress, and we met her just by chance, and she gave us her contact info, and she liked the scripts. And how she became to be part of the short film was she was in Carmilla. And we shot them back to back. We actually shot that movie while she was here doing Carmilla, and she agreed to do it as part of the whole film package, which was really, really cool. So we got to do Carmilla with her and Heads Are Gonna Roll. And Heads Are Gonna Roll, as it turned out, and she herself had only found out a couple weeks prior to being on set, was that was actually her 100th film that she'd been in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Now, this next one here I never even heard of, but it seems interesting to me. It's called Human Nature in 2004. Yeah,
the Asylum put that one out too, and basically because they had such success with distributing Vampires vs. Zombies, they basically called us right after the American film market the year it came out, I think it was 2004, and they said, do you have anything else? Of course we had that, and they were trying to market that one on sort of like on the coattails of the Stuart Gordon film King of the Ants. They were sort of doing those kind of back to back. So the Stuart Gordon film came out, then a month later ours came right out, right after it. And not to a really wide release. It was somewhat successful as an independent film, and it got shown overseas, and it got a widescreen letterbox release both on I can't believe I'm going to say this, but VHS way back when.
Oh yeah.
VHS and DVD. But it never really generated as much interest from anybody as the first one had done.
Now, this next one here, I mean, it has a high rating on IMDb. I'm quite surprised by it. Hopefully I can pronounce it. Necrophagia?
Oh, necrophagia.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was actually not one of our productions. That's something that I worked on professionally, just as an editor.
Okay.
And that was there's a band, sort of an underground heavy metal band, in the States, and that's them. It's Necrophagia, and it was basically the lead singer Killjoy, who had come to Vancouver, and he's friends with Ryan Nicholson, also from who did Gutter Balls and Live Feed.
Yep.
And Ryan was the one that actually got me the job. Ryan said, "Oh, I know this guy is a great editor, blah blah blah," and so Killjoy actually hired me, and that was my first professional gig. Actually, was that?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is that available?
Yeah, as far as I know. But the necrophagia stuff is kind of independently distributed in the States.
Okay.
And there is a website for all that heavy metal and everything, and I think it's called Red Stream or Red Stream Releasing.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a big website, and it's got all that. It's got all their videos and CDs, as well as many other bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now this next one here, I noticed that our boy Rob was also a director.
Oh, Hell Hath No Fury.
Yes, 2006.
That was a real fun project. That's an anthology project that we did, and I guess the thing that was a little bit different with this anthology project is traditionally you get things like like Creepshow, and it's all the same director. Like George Romero directed all of Creepshow.
Right.
But with this, we wanted to experiment with everybody not just being able to direct their own piece, but kind of write and direct their own piece.
Okay.
And we started with Rob, and my challenge was to somehow, when we were all said and done, make them kind of fit together in a way. So I wrote a little wraparound segment that sort of included, it was these two guys in a coffee shop sort of relaying these stories to each other is how it worked out.
Okay.
But that's a real fun project, actually. I still like watching that one. It's got a lot of, just the different talents that were behind the camera and that were involved with creating this project.
Yeah.
It's really...
That's interesting. Now, this next title is, it's a thriller. It's in 2007. It has a funky title, Sex and Death, 1977.
Yeah, I love that. But we went, I didn't mention this, but, we shot way back when, we shot Corpse-O-Rama, Vampires vs. Zombies, which is now Carmilla, Heads Are Gonna Roll. They were all shot on film. After that, we really didn't have any money whatsoever, like nothing. So we went, we fell back on digital, and we were shooting digital film after that. And then Sex and Death was actually the first time we went back to shooting on film. So we shot on 16, and that one, I love that little movie. I just got the idea one day. I woke up, it was a bright, sunny summer day, and I was really, at the time, I was into Jess Franco's films, and I was listening to, like, the Vampiros Lesbos soundtrack and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was listening to the soundtrack, it was a beautiful sunny day, and just the look of the lighting outside reminded me of some of his films, and I thought, it'd be really fun to sort of do sort of a little Jess Franco or, a Euro trash homage, just sort of shoot in some natural light, get some funky music, and get sort of the flavor of those things. And that's why we wanted to do something sort of with a 70s, but it was really more of a Euro 70s style.
Right.
And that was cool. And that's a short film as well. That's about 22 minutes long, which you'll be able to see on the Carmilla disc as well.
Okay. Now, there's something I want to ask you about. I keep reading about it, but of course, I don't think it's in the United States. I don't know. But a TV series, the Renfield Syndrome. Oh,
yeah, that's on YouTube. That we released that on YouTube.
Okay.
Now, I wonder, I can't remember actually if that was actually out when you were talking to Rob. Because it was getting released right around that time. And the whole thing's available now on YouTube. I mean, for free. And that was really just something that was it was inspired right out of the blue. I wrote it really quickly, and it got a good response from our crew, so we didn't really hesitate to go ahead and start shooting it. And it's basically a lot of interviews, and it's sort of a mystery. It's a mystery about this missing girl, but it's told as a media satire.
Okay.
And that was kind of the idea with that. So at the time, I had a lot to say about media, I think. I was just trying to, I don't know if I'd call it venting or not, but I was having fun with it, let's just say. And originally, we didn't know what we wanted to do with it. And once it got cut together, I mean, it was an interesting sort of little feature. It was about 65, 70 minutes long. Right. But, you know, as something that's really constructed as a mockumentary, it was kind of, you know, I mean, it wasn't totally exciting. It wasn't like all this action and it wasn't even like, a lot of gore. There's a couple of scenes in it. But it was, Peter Spears, one of our producers, who sort of turned me on to the idea of doing it, or just releasing it as a web series. And I'm really glad we did that, actually, because I feel good about just, this was something that we did a little bit on a whim, and it wasn't very expensive, and I like the idea of giving some of this stuff away for free, you know, like just letting people see it if they want to see it.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I might watch that. I think I did see something on YouTube about that. I might check that out.
Yeah.
The next one is the hard cut in 2010. I talked to Dan. He has mentioned a little bit about it, as you know, and good old Robbie. And this, to me, is an interesting cast. You got all my brothers from another mother in it, you know.
Yeah, we really utilized a lot of the talent that was pooled in Vancouver. I think every actor in that film it was especially right at that time. Like we were shooting it in 2008, like 2008, 2009, they were really starting. They're just starting to break through because a lot of indie films that they were in from Vancouver producers and Vancouver directors have been going to like the Toronto Film Festival, the Vancouver Film Festival, the Whistler Film Festival. So all these actors are just kind of starting their careers, and it's really cool because like it seems like all the same actors just kind of get bounced around. We were really involved with the film talent community at that point. It was really good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I think after I interviewed, Rob Carpenter, James Tice sent me a message. So that my little controversy interviews I did there was not funny wise. It really generated a lot of listeners as well.
Awesome.
I had a lot of fun with those three, but I mean Nathan Dashwood too. I mean, but yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see this. So now you say it's almost finished.
Yeah, it is. It actually, for all intents and purposes, it is finished. Okay. It's been final cut, and it's been final cut for a couple of weeks now. We did the cast and crew screening. Of course, you always think it's final cut when you do a cast and crew screening, but deep down, you kind of know once you see it in the theater, you're going to make some changes. Yep. So, made changes over the next 6 weeks, and it is final cut now. And we're just waiting on the final sound design. But in the meantime, we do have a temporary sound design which we're using to construct the screeners for right now.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. I mean, pretty much, creatively speaking, my side of it is done. So
okay. Well, now if you want to, we can get into the newest of newest. Rob Carpenter sent me a trailer about a bunch of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And I posted the trailer on my trailer blog site, and people seem to have a lot of interest. And I also heard some, there's a couple things that people are writing, but go ahead and explain it to the people, the listeners, exactly what the name of the movie is and what it's about, and let them decide for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the name of the movie, which I always smile when people ask me what it is, it's Catholic Cheerleaders for Satan. And obviously that's a bit of a satire, and it always was meant to be. We kind of thought it was something fun, but the reason that it exists is because actually these Catholic cheerleaders for Satan are in the hard cut film. The hard cut movie is about this detective who gets hired by some unsavory people to track down this uncensored film print from the 70s, and the film is Catholic Cheerleaders for Satan. So this movie that we've released now on YouTube for free is that film within the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to check that baby out because I like a good laugh.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
I think that there's a lot more comedy in it once you start actually watching because we're releasing it one reel at a time. And as you get into it, you'll see there's a lot more comedy. Like the trailer is pretty gruesome, It's like,
I know.
but once you get into the actual, you're watching these cheerleaders and these guys all interacting with each other. It actually is pretty funny.
Yeah.
We're only on reel 4. Like there's 9 reels that we're releasing, and I just released reel 4 this morning. So we're releasing 2 every week. So we're almost halfway done releasing that also.
Wow. I'm gonna check that out. Now, is there anything else that you have planned in the future that's coming up, or is it?
Well, my mind is always spinning, hundreds of miles an hour, and every time I think of something, it lasts a week, and I think of something else.
Oh.
It's kind of one of those things, but for right now, I'm just really happy with finishing everything off. We've got cheerleaders that's by the end of January, the entire release will be finished on YouTube. The screeners, Rob, is going to start putting out for the hard cut this year, so I'm really going to take some time to actually think about and write the next thing that I want to do.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I got some advice for you if you want. You might want to carry some chains and locks around with you so you can chain Dan down so you don't start floating up. His head will get too big.
I know.
Hey, man, Rob, too, don't forget,
Yeah, I know. They got about an ego and a half. No, they're awesome. They're really great. I love how involved they get with everything, and they really do. Both of those guys, and James Tice too, who we talked a little bit about. They really get involved with every part of it. It's that's one thing I love about doing the films. It's one of the things. It's the collaborating with all these great people.
Yep. There's I seen the most latest film that I seen with Dan in was the title hasn't been decided yet, but as of right now, it's Star Vehicle.
Oh yeah. I only saw a trailer of that actually. I haven't seen the whole thing. In fact, I haven't seen the last 2 films that him and Ryan Nicholson did together. Yeah, Hanger. I haven't seen Hanger either.
Saw that one too.
Yeah, I heard that one was pretty cool.
Star Vehicle. I'm telling you something. I called Dan as soon as I watched it, and Mr. Modest that he is, Dan has the knack to what his knack is. What amazes me is he can turn his personality like a light switch in that movie.
Oh yeah,
and he's so good at it. I mean, God forbid me saying it, but he makes a good killer. He does. I mean, I'm sure he wants to do other things too, but he does it so well. I mean, that movie amazed me. I mean, I went into Star Vehicle thinking, okay, well, it's going to be one of them, independent, low-budget movies that, it's going to have some rough spots. It's normal, which doesn't bother me. But that movie turned out good.
Oh,
I really dug it.
Here. I'm happy to hear that. Actually, it's really good. Yeah, I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't get that from when I watched the trailer because the trailer did look like it had a couple of rough spots in it. But that was way before I think that they had finished it.
Yeah.
Which it sort of goes to show how important your trailer is as important as your film. Too,
right.
When you're getting ready to let those things out into the wild as they are, so to speak.
Yeah, but when you get a chance down the road, I think it's getting. I know one of them. I'm trying to think. I think it's getting released in February. I think what Dan told me last. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to it, but I think it is. But you got to check that out. That's a damn good movie.
Yeah, I will. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, and then there's also one before, Hanger. That's getting released soon too, I think. And that was,
that one's been out for a little bit. I saw that one on Amazon on DVD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a different Dan role there. I mean,
yeah.
He's so
and he's in like some full facial makeup there, like prosthetics and things.
Yes.
Isn't he in Hanger? Yeah.
The funky nose.
Yeah. Yeah, that seemed like a pretty big showcase for prosthetics, that one.
But he pulled it off. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, and Ryan's background is all the prosthetic makeup effects too. So, of course, he's going to make sure everything's tip top. So. Yeah,
Ryan's a good guy too. I really dig his stuff too. Gutter balls.
Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. I'm sure he's a busy guy. I'm sure he's busier than I am.
Yeah. All right, Vince. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking your time.
Okay, thank you.
To get these movies out. But, I'm looking forward to seeing Hard Cut, so I'll hang on until the time comes.
Yeah, you'll for sure be getting a copy of that. I guarantee it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Gruesome.
Take care, Vince.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Hey, this is Sean Kane, director of Silent Night, Zombie Night, and you're listening to Gruesome Herzog.
Hello, this is Natalie Sheets. I played Jenna in the film Madison County, and you're listening to Gruesome Herzog.
Hey, horror fans, this is Ace Marrero, and you are listening to Gruesome Herzog. Dig it!
I'm Jessica Funneborn, and I'm listening to Gruesome Herzog.
This is Yvette Corvea, and most of you know me as Marla from Run Bitch Run. She's a really evil, crazy bitch. And you guys are listening to Gruesome Herzog.
Hi, this is David Z. Stamp, and you're listening to Gruesome Herzogs.
Hey, this is Bill Oberst Jr. I played Dale in the film Dismal, and as Dale would say, let me tell you something. You're listening to Gruesome Herzog. You got Dale's word on that.
Hey, this is James Cotton. I'm a director, writer, producer. You're listening to Gruesome Herzog.
Jack Harrison, action actor and stunt coordinator on 3 stunt teams. I played the character Idiot in the movie Dismal, and you're listening to Gruesome Herzog.